Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 511 of DrunkNerds podcast. And as always, I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I feel like I ran a relay race today, Tyler. I mean, seriously, between the craziness of work, people being on vacation, having to cover multiple spots, and then on top of that, yesterday after work, I had the crazy thought, hey, you know what? Maybe I should go through and just shovel a bunch of freaking rocks and stuff so I can help my mom with her rock garden. And I'm like, at about 30 minutes in, I'm thinking, oh God, I regret everything. Because it's like, fun story. My mom loves to do a lot of yard work, right? And she loves to go forth and decorate the front stuff, only she can't physically do it, and so she gets me to do it. And a lot of the times, it's fine, planting some plants here, putting some weeds there, spreading about 40 or 50 bags of mulch there. And then, I'm not joking either. And at that same point, she orders like a truck of like this gravel, right? From like a place and stuff where my sister-in-law works at. And I watch on my little app, on my Ring camera app while I'm at work. It's like, why is there a truck doing in my freaking yard? And all of a sudden I just see a dump gravel, like, God dang it, Mom. But yeah, man, I spent a better part of yesterday evening shoveling some gravel and stuff, and we got some plants and a blue spruce that I had planted over there, so like I arranged it all nice and neat to where now we have like this big old rock stuff. I posted it on Facebook and stuff, so it's like,
Oh, yeah, look good.
that are,
I did see
yeah,
that.
yeah, I'd spent like about a good fucking hour or something just doing that shit, dude. Let's just say when I woke up this morning, man, I was still kind of sore, and then on top of finishing the crazy week, the crazy day that was Saturday, and the whole sales stuff. I mean, yeah, man, it's like I felt like I fucking ran a relay race. But other than that, though, I did have a chance to play some bit of games this week, and I actually did return back to Destiny 2 for a little bit. So
Nerd.
now, other than that, though, it's just the same old type of stuff. How have you been doing, Tyler?
Oh, you know me, man. Just clanging and banging as always. I got to ask, though, in this rock garden of yours, did you find any rock lobsters?
No. Rock lobsters.
Were you at a
Well,
beach?
no.
Did you have matching towels? Did anybody go under a dock?
There are no docks around my general vicinity.
Okay. Are you sure it wasn't a rock, but a rock lobster?
Well, I'm not
really
sure, Tyler. I still got to dig through like about a mountain's worth of gravel here. So,
well, you
I'll
let me know. You let me know. I'm really proud of myself for getting through that. I'm like, I don't know if I remember the lyrics to Rock Lobster, but thanks to Donkey Konga, I do. All these years later, Donkey Konga is just coming in to save my ass. But no, I'm doing okay. Just like I said, clanging and banging. Been another long week, but hey, we got a long weekend, so that's nice. The Iowa Hawkeyes played their first game today.
Yeah.
I oddly enough, I had like zero interest in watching the game. For the first time, I remember my mom called me today. Usually they call me. My mom usually calls me like on the weekend, usually like once, especially if I don't go over there over the course of the weekend.
Right.
And just call me and just bullshit and catch up, just checking on each other. And I was talking to my mom. She was asked about the game. I'm like, it's weird. Like I remember last week. This time I remember talking about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Where the first like 2 or 3 weeks of this season, every Saturday, I would get such bad anxiety that I would give myself, and sorry to be a little gross here, diarrhea. Like I would be running in and out of the bathroom. That's how much anxiety I'd get during before, during, and during the Hawkeye games.
Damn.
And this year, I'm like, the only anxiety I have is the fact that I have to fucking watch this goddamn game. Not because, and it's last year. So there's a podcaster, or he was a radio guy and a TV guy for years, but he's been covering the Hawkeyes for longer than I've been alive. Name's John Miller. I've been listening to him since I was like 7th grade. So like 12, 13 years old. So over 20 years now I've listened to him. And now he does a podcast. And he did his podcast on Friday. First one he's done since the end of the season last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting. And I was just kind of listening to him because I always listen to him. and he like all the feelings I couldn't like sum up with into words, he did for me, where he said that like, and he's in his 50s, so and he's a hardcore like he's at press passes like he started multiple websites like he worked his way up. Yeah, he
Right.
knows football way better and he's way a much bigger fan and much more knowledgeable of Iowa Hawkeyes than I am. And he summed it up perfectly where he's like, last year broke me. So like, and he's like, I'm going to the season. He's like, I'm just not really enthused. He's like, I, he's like, I haven't missed an Iowa game. Uh, he's like in years, like not being able to watch him live. Like that wasn't like a extreme like family event.
Right.
Something huge happened. He told me he was saying like he has a daughter in high school. He's one in high school, one in college, and he was talking about his high school daughter. He's like, she's playing volleyball this year. They play games on Saturdays. A lot of those games are going to take place during the Hawkeye games. He's like, and I don't care. I'm not even mad about it. And I'm like, God damn, he's
God
so right.
damn,
It's like,
dude.
yeah, like, and I'm like, God, that's perfect. Like, that's what happened last year. It just broke me, and it's like, this in watching this game, like I made it like maybe two series in of offense. So I was defense. People don't know. Hawkeyes play like old school football. Um, Great defense,
Mhm.
really great special teams, and
Right.
the offense is kind of a nuisance. Like they hate offense. They just hate playing offense. Like they score points with the defense, and I'm not kidding. And I'll tell you how they score points with defense because that's what they did today. But last year, like they've always had like a great offense for Iowa is
Right.
ranked like in the 50s out of like
Okay.
120 schools. That's like the best they've done in my lifetime. Like regular, like a really great year for them is it between 50 and 60. Last year they were second to last.
What?
They were awful. They've been bringing out this quarterback. It's his third year starting, and he's gotten worse every year. They never had great quarterbacks, but it's always been like tall white guys that can kind of move a little bit.
That's the thing, though. It's
Um,
like for their offense, they're more or less known in recent years because the tight ends they've come to like, at least in
yes,
the league,
yeah,
like say
George
George Kittle.
Kittle, T.J. Hawkinson, Noah
Yep.
Fant, like
Yep.
they are tight end U. Yeah, that's what they're called because they have really great tight ends, but they don't fucking. If you look at the stats of Kittle, T.J. Hawkinson, Noah Fant, all these great Tony Moyaki, all these like great tight ends from Iowa. It's ridiculous when you look at their. They have one of the top tight ends in the country this year, and he's gonna maybe catch 40 passes this year, and maybe have 400 yards at best. Anyways, they're playing South Dakota State,
Mm-hmm.
the division below Iowa.
Yeah.
So they tried out and they've been talking about this new look Iowa offense, which I'm like
Okay.
bullshit because they play old school. They have a fullback, they have two tight ends, and then they play one style on offense and defense. You know what it's going to be on defense. It works. They've led the nation in turnovers this century. They
Right.
they they don't give up big plays. They don't give up a lot of points, and they create a lot of turnovers. Um, they won 7-3 today against the team a division below them. You want to know how
Really?
all 10 points were scored, Gables?
You know what? Let me go forth and take a guess here because I did see a photograph that you had posted like through your little messages on Instagram and like fucking thing.
Yes,
They were leading 5-2 at one point, which means
five
to
to
me
three, five to
like
three,
oh yeah, 5-3, which means maybe a field goal and two safeties.
exactly. And you want to know how those field goals were scored, Gables?
How?
The defense, the defense, all game. Oh, special teams. We have an All American punter, the best punter in the country,
Right?
Tory Taylor. He's an Australian punter.
Right.
He's amazing. He has been the MVP of this team for the last 3 years, and I'm not kidding. He's the best player on the team that has several All-American players and several players that go into the league every year.
Okay.
Best player on their team. He had 8 punts today.
8. Okay.
7 of the 8 landed inside the 10.
What?
The last one, the very last punt he did with like 30 seconds left, he just punted it into the end zone. Didn't care. So the 7 that mattered, he just punted it and it landed all inside the 10. So that's how they got the 2 safeties.
Wow.
The 2 field goals, Iowa threw an interception because their quarterback sucks. They ran it back inside the 30. The South Dakota State team went 3 and out, kicked the field goal. That's their 3 points. So Iowa's offense is responsible for South Dakota State scoring 3 points.
Wow.
The 3 points that Iowa got from a field goal was from a punt return that they took inside the 40. Iowa's offense went 3 and out and they kicked the field goal. And on top of that, the Iowa's defense got the ball for them inside the 30 at one point. They went 3 and out, went backwards actually, and then the guy missed the field goal. So all 10 points, all 7 points Iowa scored are responsible because of defense, special teams. All 3 points are responsible because of the Iowa's offense that South Dakota State scored. South Dakota State, they're I don't know how to explain this. Iowa's offense gave up more points and scored less points than Iowa's defense scored and gave up.
Wow.
That's never happened before. It's never happened before. This is what I deal with. I can't fucking stand it. When I was listening to John Miller talk about it, he's like, like, I love Iowa, but I want to be entertained. And I'm like, that's exactly it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I just can't watch this team run on 1st and 2nd down for 2 yards. And then on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, try to pass with an awful quarterback when everybody knows they have to pass, and just watch him overthrow somebody or fucking freak out in the pocket and get sacked for no reason. Anyways, I'm fucking losing my goddamn. I rage quit like 8 times. I just start like there's never been a time. This is the first time I can remember where I've been able to watch a game live and just chose not to. Like, that wasn't like a blowout. Like, where Iowa just wasn't getting blown out or they were blowing in. Like, I turned the game off, whatever. They're up 30-0 in the 3rd quarter, or they're down 20 points to like a much better team. I'll just turn it off. But first time, I'm like, fuck this. And I just fast forward to the good shit. And that's why after halftime, I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. So that's what I did. But Gables, sorry for that tangent, but I had to do it. But this is a video game podcast, actually. I swear. Not me bitching about the Iowa Hawkeyes that I'm sure you don't care about. But if you enjoyed that, please like, follow, subscribe. And look down in the show notes. You'll see a link to all of our socials, wherever podcasts are at, Apple, Spotify, Twitch, Extra Life, all those places. In there, please like, follow, subscribe, leave 5 stars, shares actually probably help us more than anything, with your friends, families, whatever. And like I said, hit that like button, hit those 5 stars, and hit that, ring that bell. All the things everybody else does, just do that for us. Really appreciate it. More you guys do that, more helps us out. And it makes us feel good, Click that like button. It's on Gables' junk. Makes him happy. And I know what? We want to make Gables happy because he's got a bit of a temper. He doesn't show it on the podcast. But guys, before the show, he's pretty fucking... Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at that face. Audio listeners, pull over. You know what? Don't pull over. Keep driving. Stop the podcast. If you listen to the audio... Go out to YouTube. Go to the 13-minute and 15-second mark of this podcast. Look at that face. Look at that face. That guy will murder you if you don't click that fucking like button. He's really happy. He just got a new shirt. He's getting a new shirt coming in the mail. He's really happy. We'll talk about that later. Gables is not happy. Oh no, we're gonna talk about it right now. Gables is not happy with me. I bought him a Pitterpot shirt. He's very mad. He watched me do it too. I screen shared the whole thing.
That I am like angry or happy in terms of that purchase, but still.
Yeah, I think what scared him more than anything is for some reason Google saved his address into my Google, so I typed G and all of his information popped up.
Sent me stuff before, so I think that probably happened during some of those.
I just don't know why it saved it. It's very weird. I did it through Amazon though. I don't know. It's whatever. I keep forgetting I have your information. I'm gonna start sending you where you're gonna start getting some weird shit in the mail here soon. But anyways, like I said, this is a video game podcast. Gables, don't push me. I'll fucking do it. But anyways, let's talk about some. There's some gaming events going on next week. So it's not crazy. A lot of rumors, a lot of hubbub going on this week. But we do have some known facts of gaming events on Friday, September 9th. I can't remember the time. I forgot to write it down. I think it's like noon Pacific time. There is D23. Like they're doing like a big Disney event. They do it every other year. and like they're gonna talk about movies, like all things Disney. They're gonna announce a bunch of movies. It's like almost like a con type of thing, or like a it's kind of like almost like an E3 style thing, but for Disney stuff. They're doing a Disney / Marvel video game event. First time ever doing that on Friday, and then on Saturday, Ubisoft is having their Ubisoft Forward. That is at I believe at noon Pacific time, West Coast, Best Coast. A random Saturday one that
That's
isn't E3.
hilarious, though. Friday at noon and then Saturday at noon, like for freaking
Yeah.
back-to-back days. I'm like, I know both days I'm working during that initial stint, though, but this is either going to
Okay.
be something interesting or something that's I'm going to look back on and just say, it's like, well, I'm glad I worked through that.
Yeah. When we talked about this a while ago, a couple weeks ago when they announced the Disney thing, Disney owns Avatar.
Yeah, they do.
Ubisoft and Disney is also owns Star Wars.
Yes.
Ubisoft is making a Avatar and Star Wars game. So we see this at E3 sometimes. We get that synergy where it's like EA will show Anthem, and then hey, watch the Xbox conference tomorrow for more details. And then boom, there's more XCOM's event.
Right.
Or XCOM. Jesus Christ, what the XCOM?
Xbox event.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, where did the XCOM from? I even thought what the fuck. Lose my mind, Gables. So we see that synergy sometimes, and then also, typically we have a PlayStation showcase. It would typically be the 8th. They usually do it before Tokyo Game Show, which Tokyo Game Show is I believe the 15th. So but PlayStation likes to do their things on Thursday. So I'm wondering if they don't do it this week, and maybe they want to avoid it because of all that shit, or unless they have some corporate synergy going on with Disney and Ubisoft, which I doubt. That can work together, or it's gonna be the week after, which sucks.
It all depends, though. Is Sony going to actually attend Tokyo Game Show, or
I don't think they're gonna be there. No. So we got that going on 2 weeks. I don't think. I know Xbox will be there. I know Capcom will be there. Konami said they're gonna announce a game there. But it's not that. But it's not gonna be Silent Hill, Castlevania, or Metal Gear. So nothing that we care about.
Right.
Maybe a concert game, but or maybe a new Yu-Gi-Oh game. I don't fucking know. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, so I'll do so you said you have to work on during the Ubisoft one?
Yeah, on the Ubisoft one I do.
Okay. Well, I was going to do a live reaction, so I didn't know if you're going to be able to join me, I guess. Okay.
Oh yeah, man, go ahead. I'm kind of curious to see your live reaction, though, because that's pretty much what I'm going to be watching after I get home from work.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll do a live reaction, so check up on the on the YouTube. So if you're not watching us at all, you didn't if Gable's face scared you off when you made that murder face, which I don't blame you, please come back, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and you'll get a notification when that goes up, because I won't be able to do it live, I guess. I'll watch it for myself live, and then I'll post it immediately afterwards.
So it's just a reaction.
Shortly after the event. Yeah, so it'll be a reaction, but shortly after the event is over, that will be up on our YouTube channel to watch that. So please, like I said, follow, subscribe, hit that bell so you get the notification on it. But yeah, we have that going on, so it should be a fun little week. They did also, we've heard all the leaks and rumors about the Assassin's Creed Mirage game, which is supposed to be set in the Middle East. And then Ubisoft accidentally leaked it themselves, which is fucking hilarious. Nobody's better at leaking Ubisoft information than Ubisoft.
Yeah, because
let me tell you,
we saw. I think it was like some form. If I'm piecing this together right, and this is from kind of a little bit of information that I was gathering in that regards. It's like the whole Assassin's Creed Mirage thing. I think I was listening to a little bit of it on like Jeff Grubb's little show, I think about a day or two ago, where it's like it was leaked and stuff, and then I think by Ubisoft, and then on the very next day or something, they just like, okay, this is in fact,
Yeah, which is funny because they were DMCAing people their leak for using the photos, which is fucking hilarious. Like, you leaked it and then you DMCA people. So they accidentally leaked it on their on the Ubisoft store, I guess. But this has been rumored for a long time. Everybody, like, Ubisoft is probably the leakiest of the big companies. Like, we know about all their shit. I mean, we saw screenshots of Mario plus Rabbids like a year before the game was announced. But it should be a pretty decent event. We do know about the Ubisoft, though. It sounds like it's supposed to be like a big Assassin's Creed. It's supposed to be the big thing of the show, because they also have that Assassin's Creed Infinite that they talked about,
right?
And that we should be getting a better idea of what that's going to be. The Mirage won't be a part of it, but it should. but that this is like the last thing before the Infinite thing happens. So, but I'm excited about to see more about Mirage because that's kind of like supposed to take place in kind of the original settings. It has, I think you're playing as one of the characters from Origin, um, one of the side characters from the game, and it's supposed to be more like the old school, like the original Assassin's Creed games before like Origin
Okay,
and shit,
so
where it turned into a Witcher game.
all right, so not more or less like say some of the last couple of iterations, like Odyssey or Valhalla, where it's just basically this huge type of open world type of things, where it's just like multiple
Yeah,
different like things you gotta search out throughout this things, like the slog like that and stuff.
yeah, 100-hour game.
But instead more condensed, sort of like the older Assassin's Creed, like say like 1 and 2, to where it's like okay, maybe it's like a solid 20-hour experience.
Yeah, which is hilarious that like we're at the point now where it's like, man, like
Less is
everybody is
more.
so sick of these 120-hour games. How do we fix this? Let's just make them what we did before, where they were like 20 hours. Oh, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Oh, what a novel
Back,
concept.
what a novel idea. Yeah, even though I mean, people like those games, and I really
Yeah,
liked Odyssey,
yeah, they're
but
the type of yearly
I
games
was,
and stuff where you could just like, I mean, granted, fans like some of the hardcore Assassin's Creed like fan base and stuff. Yeah, there are a slew of them that do like that type of style, to where it's like all these open world sort of expansive things like an Origins or Odyssey or even Valhalla and stuff, where they can just spend an entire year chunking like bits and pieces off of it through like whatever in terms of side missions, in terms of this and that, and then there's like some of the other like fan base and stuff, some of the more, like say URI or something, that kind of prefer the sort of like a more condensed experience to how we initially enjoyed Assassin's Creed, which is like, well, for me it was Assassin's Creed 2. For you it's like the a slew of them. I mean, you were playing this
yeah,
thing like every year that it
every
came out.
Assassin's Creed up until Origins,
Yeah,
and then I guess Odyssey, but I liked Odyssey, um, for the non-Assassin's Creed stuff, and then, yeah, so it was just funny because I was burnt out on that towards the end. Now I'm like, man, I've been for years. I'm begging to bring it back. So, um, I don't know. The first time, it feels like for the first time in a while, I'm actually really excited for Assassin's Creed. Like what this could be. Like I'm not like Jones in. This isn't gonna be like, oh man, just like I'm not like hyped, but I'm like I'm actually like I actually care
right.
about. Even though I mean I keep buying. I bought Origin. I bought Odyssey. I bought Valhalla. But like Origin and Valhalla, I just did not vibe with. And Odyssey, I just dug a lot because of the characters and the story more than the game itself.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited though. I don't know how long they're gonna be. And like I'm excited about the Marvel Disney one because it's just like we don't know. We don't have expectations for these things. Ubisoft
No,
forwards have not
absolutely
been
none.
blow away, but they've been solid. Like they haven't been bad. They haven't been great. Um, but like we don't have expectations for this Marvel Disney thing. So this could be awesome. And it could just be kind of a waste of time. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm definitely I'm excited. We're just kind of feels like we're having like a kind of like a almost like an E3, not like on the level, but like a small E3
It's
going on.
incredibly weird.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, where the fuck was the shit in June? Um, but speaking of events going on, Gables, sounds like we're getting Nintendo Direct possibly this coming week, but most likely in 2 weeks. So the week of the would that be the 12th? Look at my
It would be
calendar
the
here. Yeah, so
12th, like on a
the 12th through
Tuesday.
the 16th. So like I said, Tokyo Game Show I believe starts on the 15th.
Hmm.
So Game Explain actually did. I was watching this video they were talking about that. They usually Nintendo has done a direct before Tokyo Game Show, right before Tokyo Game Show every year since 2013.
Okay, so the past
Um,
7, 8
9 years.
years. Yeah.
Uh, Typically it's the week before, so in normal times it would be the like this coming week, but like I said, rumors sounds like it's going to be not this coming week, but the week after. But some rumors have been saying that it could be as early as this coming week, but most
Right.
likely next. Um, yeah, so some of the big stuff coming out of this now, we talked about this, like last week that there were some rumors of this. Jeff Grubb actually kind of was the first one to kind of talk about this, and we hear about there's always people were talking about there's been some rumblings about Direct coming soon. He was the one person back in May he said this. And I talked about this on the show when he said this. That back in May he said that there's a good chance we won't have the big Direct in June, but instead we'd have a bunch of small we'd have a bunch of announcements throughout the summer. which
Yes.
is exactly what we had. We had like the Bayonetta got a release date. We've got multiple Pokemon Presents. We
Mm-hmm.
had the partner showcase.
Yep.
We had the Kirby game announced. We
Yep.
had all these like random. We had content updates for. Uh, we had the Splatoon one. We had multiple. We had what the Splatoon Treehouse thing. Um, there was like a Live Alive one as well.
And
We
then
had
the
a bunch of we
Xenoblade
had content.
Chronicles one as well. That.
Xenoblade, yep, and then we had the Switch Sports update. We
Yep.
had the I meant to write them all down with dates, but basically he said this like don't expect like the big direct, but expect announcements weekly and like there's YouTube that did this actually a couple weeks ago. I think it might have been Game Explain as well actually, where they talk about the summer and they said here's like one we'd have one or two not huge, but like big, announcements, noteworthy announcements every week all summer, and that's exactly what we did.
Yep.
That's exactly what we had. So he was the only person that said it, and that's exactly what we got. We had the partner showcase, but it wasn't like anything big. And he's the one kind of got this one going, and he's been saying that we'll have the Wind Waker Twilight Princess, that dual pack, that's been rumored for a long time. That could be coming soon. He didn't by soon. He wasn't saying this year, but he said, I mean, it's possible, but he thinks early next year, which I think is interesting, Gables. This could be a whole other discussion. That's coming early next year, and Nintendo likes to have a yearly Zelda game,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't think they do because we can talk about this a little bit later. We can talk about this now. Um, you look at the schedule for the rest of the year. There's not a lot of room for
No.
Nintendo stuff. I mean, we have Splatoon next week,
Yep.
next Friday. We have in October we have Mario plus Rabbids and we have Bayonetta.
Yep.
I don't remember if I'm forgetting anything. And then in November we have Pokemon. I think there's something else in there too somewhere.
All right, so
I feel
Scarlet
like
and Violet, but yeah, at the same time,
yeah,
in terms of
yeah,
Nintendo, I'm really not too sure. I know that there was something in regards to another release that's happening.
yeah. I'm trying to forget something, but like the only thing I could think of that's like unless they release at the end of this month, because I remember when they announced. No, that's not right. Skyward Sword was announced in February and released in July. I was thinking it was June then July. So that's only 5 months. Yeah, so I think it's gonna be early next year. So is Breath of the Wild gonna be later than we think? Because they did say spring next year. Maybe they put this out in January, February, and then maybe that comes out in like June or May or April or something. I don't know.
Mm.
Or maybe it's November.
Unless we go forth and speculate that maybe this whole Twilight Princess, like Wind Waker compilation or whatever they do with it, could release inside of December, and then all of a sudden that would be like
Yeah, that's true.
released. Given a couple of months, if they are aiming for like a spring, like a late spring sort of release with Breath of the Wild 2, it could be like, say, in the month of June, like
Yeah,
right before, like a week or so before summer starts. You
yeah,
can't really rule out that possibility with it because, yeah, coming soon could mean multiple different things. It could be December of this year, it could be about January or February of next year, like what Grubb is suspecting that possibly could be the case, but at the same point, what we're getting is like various rumors in regards to what may happen with this whole compilation, because like you were saying, Jeff Grubb was just like heavily like just nailing to the point, yeah, this thing is real, this is going to be coming fairly soon. He's also been saying the same thing in regards to the whole Metroid Prime remake
yep.
as
That's another thing I
well,
had on my
and
list here.
he's hell-bent in thinking that it may release this year, so it's like,
Yeah, he did say he was expecting. He said he could, when at the time when he talked about the Metroid Prime remaster remake, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
Um, he he they didn't say this. He was told this, but he was assuming that November because that's the 20th anniversary of
Right,
Metroid Prime.
right.
Um, so he's kind of like not so much doesn't think it's gonna happen. He still thinks it's gonna happen, but but he did mention it could be a 2020 early 2023 game.
Well,
Which
yeah, that's possible too. I mean, let's
yeah,
think of it this way. Traditionally, over the past couple of years, I mean, Nintendo really hasn't celebrated some of their main series, like major anniversary things. I mean,
yeah,
let's look at Legend of Zelda as a good example here. I mean, when that had its anniversary and stuff like that, there was not that much in regards to the
we had
celebration
Skyward Sword,
aspect. It was Skyward Sword, and
and
you
then
had
we
the
had
whole Game and
the
Watch.
Yeah, I wish I bought that Game & Watch thing. And then we had the Hyrule controllers.
Oh yeah, the Hyrule
Um,
controllers.
but that was the 30th, 5th anniversary.
And then
And that's a
yeah.
weird anniversary to like nobody else celebrates 35th anniversary but Nintendo.
Then you
With
have
like
that.
Mario and Zelda.
And then one more example I could give though is when Mario had its 35th anniversary and stuff, when we got that compilation of Super
All
Mario 3D
Stars.
All Stars, which, give or take, it's like, yeah, I like the fact that they had three of their major 3D Mario games in one compilation, but even though that compilation was bare bones at best in regards
Yeah.
to extra features or whatever,
Everybody bought that for
everybody
Mario
bought
Galaxy.
that, even though they claimed it was going to be like, you know, like limited in regards to release. It
Yeah,
seems
you
like
could
it's
still
still
buy it at the
available.
store right now.
Yeah,
I saw it on sale for $45 the other day. I have 2 copies of that thing. I have a digital and a physical version. Um,
you too.
my my physical version is still wrapped. But yeah. So Breath of the Wild 2. It sounds like we'll probably at least get a name for that thing, which is
That's
exciting.
what
I'm
I
excited
hope
for
anyway.
that. Yeah, and that's kind of something I was thinking about was like cause when they did do the one in June, I'm like, they really can't do the next big direct. I feel like until like at this point like I think the big thing we want is Zelda stuff. Like we want Breath of the Wild news
Yep.
and like another direct. And like the last 2 directs they've had, they haven't really had a lot for us, except they just announced delays. That's the last 2 directs they've had where they announced delays. So
I know, right?
it kind of
What if
yeah
they do like another delay or something like that, and they just announce the name of the actual thing instead of saying Breath of the Wild, it's like Death of the Wild or like Legend of Zelda, blah blah
yeah
blah.
yeah. Tingles in this one maybe. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like they do. Like, if even they delay it, I think we just need more than like the last Shrek. We have like 7 seconds of gameplay and then a delay.
Mm.
I think just give us the name at that point.
Yeah,
That will tie a lot of people. That will the theories just from the name alone and like the little bit of gameplay they probably give us will keep the if they do a delay will totally well that's all we're gonna totally forget about the delay
yeah, we
and
will.
talk about the name and look, yeah, it sucks, it got delayed. But the name did you see that here? What could that mean? Like, there's gonna be a 75-minute long game explain video breaking down every single shot.
Yes,
I can
that's what you'd
guarantee it.
expect.
Yeah. So like, if they do a delay game, which whatever, games get delayed. It sucks, but that's what happens. Like I said, the Metro Prime remaster, the Snitch did give out a tease that It Takes Two is coming to Switch. And something that's been
Okay.
going on lately is games have been getting rated that have been out for like on other consoles have been
Uh-huh.
getting rated in other countries for Switch.
Huh.
There's a lot of them. I did like a few of them, not a lot, I should say, but like
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
like about a half dozen. And typically when that happens, that means there's a direct coming soon, and those things will be announced at this direct.
Interesting.
And kind of the main one I did that kind of stuck out was the Skyrim Anniversary Edition got rated for
I
Switch.
heard that. I actually did read that upon the rumors and stuff like that, and I had to let out a laugh because that is so fucking typical. That's something I would have expected Bethesda to try to go for than do. It's like, oh hey, it's another freaking of Skyrim on the Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's hilarious. I mean, they put out they had the Xbox and PlayStation, the next gen
Yes.
ones they put out last year, for the 10th anniversary.
Yep.
Was that yeah, it was last year. Which I remember talking about on the show last year, and I was talking. I have a lot of friends that like, and you do too. There's a lot of the same mutual friends here.
Yep.
That I posted it in our talking ship group, and I'm like, hey, anybody gonna buy this? 'Cause I think it was like $30-40. And I'm like, fuck no. I've bought these things like 8 times. Like, I have them on every console. I bought them on the original consoles they came on. I bought them
Yep.
on the new consoles they came on. I
Yep.
bought them on PC.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna buy them again for the new consoles. No. Which good on them for making their stand. So that's pretty funny. But there's already a Skyrim anniversary or a Skyrim edition on there. So I'm curious what the fuck what is this thing like? It like at least when they did the anniversary thing last year, it was like, hey, it's the next gen versions.
Yeah. What the hell
Which
else
is
would they add to this?
yeah, it's like, hey, it's the Switch edition, but it's 6 years later, so it runs slightly worse. Is that the plan? I don't know. There's also so this hasn't been a part of the rumors. These are just things that I've been reading and I've been finding. Gables, I've been going to some dark places the last few weeks on the internet.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm probably on some lists now though, to find out some shit. I was telling you about how hard it was to find some games for our Fantasy Critic League.
Yeah.
And I found a winner. I found Immortality.
Okay.
92. 92 on Open Critic, Gables.
Wow, there you go.
Second highest rated game of the year. I
There
found
you
that
go.
fucking thing. I guess it's not. It's actually a fairly decent. The guy made Her Story, made this game, and it's yeah. So it's on Game. It came out this week on Game Pass. But this is the kind of shit I found. I've found some places you can go to, Gables, where if you want to know about leaks of review scores eventually coming out, I found some people.
Ah.
I found some people. Now, you just do some weird searches, but I found it. So I got the heads up on the Saints Row thing. I'm like, well, I'm deleting that fucker. So I deleted that fucker before the reviews came out. It's a little cheating. I'm not going to lie. A little bit of cheating on that one.
Well,
but hey, Gable, if you did the same thing, what? No, it wasn't the same day. It was the day before. No, if you rolled reverse, I'd let you do the same thing. So anyways, this is some of the shit I've been finding. So Fire Emblem.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is something that's been out there. I did not find this one on the internet. I found another thing. I found on the deep dives of the internet, on the dark webs as they call it, where the NFTs and crypto are sold. So the Fire Emblem game allegedly has been in development or has been done for over a year now. We know for a fact it's real because leaks of screenshots happened.
Yep.
With Chinese with a Chinese HUD.
Yep.
So we know for a fact there's at least a Fire Emblem game in development.
Right.
Of some sort. But allegedly, and this is from Emily Rogers, I think originally leaked this one. And Emily Rogers is probably the best in the business when it comes to insider stuff from Nintendo. She's been stating this game's been done for over a year. So do we maybe hear about, Fire Emblem Warriors is out? Do we hear about that here?
It's a possibility.
Gables, you're the Fire Emblem guy. Where are you at on this one?
It's a possibility when it comes to that. I mean, I've also read a lot of the rumors. I've seen the screenshots as well, and definitely do take and I do really take like the things like stated from Emily Rogers and stuff like that with also a grain of salt with everyone else. But she does have insider info in regards to Nintendo stuff. We've seen that multiple times. She has a good track record with that stuff. I know Jeff Grubb does have some good records in regards to what he's stated before, and also the Snitch. The Snitch knew, honestly, in regards to my honest opinion over the past year from what I've noticed. But when it comes to Emily Rogers and her things about Fire Emblem and stuff, it's like, I would believe from what I've seen that this is obviously a real thing, that this is potentially true, that Nintendo sitting on a Fire Emblem game, still developing some key aspects of it and stuff, but I could definitely see a new Fire Emblem game possibly being announced inside of this type of September Direct. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. They could make it to an angle to where they announce it in September, probably have it out say in a early frame, a January or February of 2023. Possibly late January. That's what I would potentially guess about it. But I'm more interested in seeing the concept of the story itself, and also if there's any other types of new things added to this whole new Fire Emblem game, because the whole thing that made Three Houses so fun is not only the characters being engaging and memorable, but also that whole aspect of these three houses and stuff, individual houses, individual playthroughs, different characters and stuff. Unless you're like me and stuff and do a complete playthrough and all of a sudden go back to another path and just start recruiting the students that I had on my other team before, except for the ones that are very close to leader of that said group and stuff, and just start recruiting everybody to where it's just me with everyone else besides 4 other people. That's how I played Fire Emblem Three Houses. But dude, I am fucking excited just seeing some more news about this.
Yeah, so I mean that could be happening. This is something I've been saying for a while now. When we were talking about would there be a direct in June, in April and May, and I've been saying this. They had that direct, I think, back in February or January of this year.
Right.
They kind of filled out the rest of the year. At that point, we knew pretty much all the stuff that was coming this year. A couple things were announced later, and I was saying that going into June, where it's The rest of this year is pretty full. We don't need to add any more thing. Like we were having like two, like in June and July, we had two big Switch games come out in each month.
Yep.
Um, we got, like I said, we have one this month. We have two next month, and then one in November. And then, like we said, there's probably one we're forgetting. Um, but we don't know anything about. We literally have nothing for next year but the Breath of the Wild sequel. That's all we have.
Yep.
So it makes sense to have this one here. It makes sense Fire Emblem possibly be there, because we don't have, like, we're just in this weird spot. Like it almost feels like, and then like, are they rushing to get all this stuff out of here, and get this stuff out, and then before the new Switch, whatever it's gonna be called, comes out maybe into next year? This is like, I'm not reporting that as like rumors I've been hearing, but like, um, just hypotheticals here is like, does that come out at the end of next year? Um, my guess was end of next year, at the earliest, but I think it's going to be early 2024 to late 2024. But maybe they're pushing it up, or maybe that's just the plan they had. Maybe they push Zelda back to make it a cross gen thing, or maybe, just maybe, Gables walked away. I was totally setting up for something, and he walked away on me. What a bitch! What an asshole! Man, now I gotta stall for time. Um, I don't know. Like I said, I don't. Nintendo's so weird, so fickle about things. I just don't know. Like I want. I don't want a new console, as far as like different. Just make a more powerful Switch. Make backwards compatible. I just want these games and make it, like I said, backwards compatible. Come out at a good price. Just doesn't even need to be. It doesn't need 4K. Just make the games run at 60 frames per second. If you have to do 30, that's fine. If we can put a new one out, make it at least 60. That way in 3 years we're not right back in the same situation we are right now where everything runs at 20. But yeah, I don't know. I just, like I said, it's just we've been flooded. It feels like for a long time with Switch games. And then, I mean, well, like in 2019, it kind of felt like we hit a wall there. And then obviously COVID hit, and that made it worse. Where 2020 was kind of Animal Crossing was fucking huge. Don't get me wrong, like that blew it up. But like as far as like good solid releases, we just didn't have a lot in 2020. 2021 was okay. I feel like 2022 has been like a really good banger year for Nintendo though. We've had a really good solid slate of games coming out throughout the year. Like there hasn't been like a big gaps in between. It almost feels like not on the scale of 2017, because 2017 obviously you had maybe two of the best games of that year with three of the best games of the year potentially for some people, with Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Plus Rabbids. I would argue that Mario Plus Rabbids is the best of those three, but I mean, whatever, call me crazy. But I'm right. And I feel like 2022 has been like a pretty solid year for them. Like this is not like, if you're ranking years, I think 2022 is maybe the second best year of the Switch's life cycle. That's pretty good. I have 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6 years. That's pretty good. We've had a lot of good years. Like 20 and 21, pretty lean years, but like 17, 18, 19, 22, been pretty awesome years for the console. And we're in this weird spot too, where like after these the Zelda, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess ports come out, like the big Wii U games, which I know they're GameCube games, but or Wii games, if you're looking at Twilight Princess there, depending on what you played it on. Like we're out of the big Wii U ports, and that's kind of been the big thing. And that's something we've been talking about for a long time now. Is like, when these things run out, what are they going to do? And like, they have definitely filled a lot of gaps in between, gaps of the new games. And those are we going to GameCube games now? That's been some of the talk here, is like they're going to kind of go bigger on GameCube remasters. I mean, we've seen Sunshine. There's the Metroid Prime rumors, but it's like, I saw someone make a leaker make a joke about F-Zero, which I don't know if that's gonna be true. Maybe they add GameCube games. That is something I just thought about that. It was last September that they announced the 64 thing. So maybe do they, and then what? So I think it launched in like October or November of last year, and you have to buy a year of expansion pack. So that would make sense to possibly you would want to like you want to those people like they did this with when they announced the original the $20 tier in 20 was it 18 I think they right when people bought a year and then right when that year was coming up they announced this Super Nintendo so maybe that's something they do is hey that year's coming up here soon for people we want to give them another reason to re-up the big 64 games are pretty much out now like I mean they're still adding one a month but the big ones are all pretty much out there so it's like we need to give them a reason so maybe do we start seeing some GameCube stuff coming is GameCube added I'm still holding out hope for the Game Boy stuff primarily just because I'm hoping that they bring that means there's a chance I can play Pokemon trading card game because that's all I fucking want in the world from them at this point other than Mario plus Rabbids 2 which we're getting soon so that's awesome um but I don't know we're just where's Spot what the hell is Gables pooping or something what is going on over there I'm running out of steam guys I can't believe I'm saying this over 9 years me talking and drinking and talking I don't think I've ever been out of words to say but yeah I think I might be out of words to say I want to talk about there's one more big thing I want to talk about with Gables I'm trying to stall for time and he's just not here and I want to talk to Gables about it I'm saving this information for Gables I don't know if he's looked in our Google Doc to see the information I typed it in here but I don't know if he's seen it but it's there I hope he hasn't because I want to talk to him about it but I'm gonna talk to you guys about it I want to talk to you guys about it fuck him kid love you Gables if he's listening to this later apparently there is a new 2D Mario in development this is from a leaker that it's been I don't know too much about his history but from what I've been finding on him he's pretty accurate so apparently there is a new 2D Mario in development it is fairly is pretty far along in development the new super part of the name is gone so they're going to have to find a new name oh here's Gables he's going to come back he's coming back Gables is back everybody let's not move
Oh, I must have missed something.
oh god I was trying to hold still trying to make it look like a freeze oh god Gables I'm so glad you're back because I ran out of steam I was talking I was rambling I started talking about like Super Nintendo and I don't know it was fucking weird
off.
all right so Gables this is the big thing I was literally setting it up I did this whole long monologue and I was going to lead into this and then right as the words are coming out of my mouth to lead into this you gave me the I'll be right back and I'm like fuck so now I gotta stall and then I stalled and then like you weren't back so I had to stall for more but Gables
yes
what if I told you in my dark web looking there is a new 2D Mario in development and this is from a leaker I can't remember his name but he's pretty good from what I can find I don't know how great he is but apparently he's had some big ones in the past he was the one that originally leaked the Donkey Kong game being made by the Mario team which we don't know if that's happening or not maybe that's another thing we talk about later but apparently from him the new super part of the name is gone
okay
so that's awesome the art style has changed which fucking right doggy dog
okay.
It's pretty far along in development it's got online multiplayer and could release as soon as the movie comes out next year but could be as far out as next year as well 2020 well 2 years 2024
it's not out of the realm of possibility I mean I would not dismiss it because yeah how successful say Super Mario Maker 2 was for the Switch how even that entire series of games and stuff kind of revitalized the whole 2D Mario sort of aspect.
Which games I'm sorry what'd you say
I'm saying like Mario Maker 2 and stuff and like
that was kind of a disappointment for them though wasn't it because it didn't sell as well as they'd hoped
well probably not like in that retrospect and
I think
stuff
almost like 6 million copies which is pretty bad for Switch
what I was referring to was like the more like a motivation of like more traditional like 2D Mario style of games
gotcha.
and stuff that has revitalized like a lot of that for people I mean hell the last one we've generally had for that was like New Super Mario Brothers U, and that one was like
That was a Wii U launch game,
that was a
wasn't it?
Wii U launch game. Yes,
Yeah.
and it also was ported onto
With
Switch.
yeah.
It doesn't surprise me that they're coming out with a new 2D Mario, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense if this rumor turns out to be true, where it would align to possibly when the movie releases in theaters. I'm fascinated though. I'm speculating like what exactly this type of new style of look is going to be.
Yeah.
It could be almost, I mean, it wouldn't be too drastic deviated from that. It could be more cartoonish in terms of style and stuff than what we begin.
Just thought of what if it looks like the movie? What if it's got Charlie Day and Chris Pratt as the voice actors for it?
Dude,
It just pops in my head.
people would
Hey
shit.
yo, I'm Mario. Look at me. You got Luigi over there, fucking. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm just imagining him with the meme with him with the walls and the string and the yarn.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude, that gives me like a fucking flashback of like fucking Street Fighter and like the goddamn like a cast of that movie and stuff, and instead of a fighting game with Raul Julia and fucking Jean-Claude Van
Yeah.
Damme. The
I'm just
PS1, dude.
I'm picturing fucking Jack Black. Isn't he plays Bowser, doesn't he?
I think Jack Black does play Bowser in that
He
movie.
just comes up and he just starts like doing like fucking Tenacious D shit. Doo-doo-doo-doo, you know. Can't you see? He's the man. Let me hear you applaud. He is more than a man. He's a shiny golden god. You know, he starts doing shit like that. If you'd like to see him fucking rock and fucking roll, you fucking. No, anyway, sorry. I don't see him saying fucking, but something like that, you know? Sorry, I'm thinking about fucking Pick a Destiny now. God, I haven't watched the movie in
But
so
like I
long. I
was
have to
stating
watch
though, in
that.
terms of like say elaborating upon like a more cartoonish like type of art style, I mean, I'm looking at past 2D Mario games, right? I mean, we've had the original, we had the second one, which was basically like pretty much a lot most gamers know was a deviation, was like like assets taken from like a previous game in Japan, Doki Doki Panic, inserted onto like with Mario characters in that regards. But Mario Bros. 3 I can think of as it being like a puppet show or like a little like kind of like in that regards, you know, because when that game first powers on and stuff, the curtain draws up and stuff, and
Oh
then you
yeah,
see that. That's what it didn't take gamers until years to realize they structured it to look like a freaking puppet show. Like, you know, a little
yeah.
stage and all this other stuff and this and that. That's
What if it's
why
just Mario Brothers 2?
what's up?
What if it's just Mario Brothers 2?
If it's just Mario Brothers 2, I mean, yeah, that would be welcomed.
Do
I
do
mean,
do do
let's think
do
about it.
do 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 do
Let's think about it. A lot
do.
of like the various enemies and like the various like styles of stages haven't been done in that type of style and stuff in like over 30
Mario's little hover
years.
jump.
I mean, the closest you could in regards to say Mario 2 references or even close to like affiliations to some of that stuff is like from Super Mario 3D World, you know, because some of the music was remixed in
Oh
that.
God.
And then some of
Yeah.
and some like of the monsters from that game made appearances.
You're so
It's
good.
that game is really weird too because it's like various enemies have appeared throughout other Mario games, like the Shy Guys and the Birdos and stuff, and like friggin' oh god, like those type of like enemies have reappeared in other Mario games, but like certain the boss characters and especially like Wart and stuff, they never have reappeared again. But I mean, you could take like more of a role of like say God, some other like 2D platformers have. I mean, hell, it could be more of like a cell shaded sort of style. It could be more of like think about it, a Mario game that is sort of like a oh my God, it would be kind of funny if it was like a 2.5D type of shit, you know, like
I just thought of Princess Peach, but like Bayonetta style, where it's like her dress is made of her hair.
oh God.
What if that's the style?
But yeah, when you
What if it's Rosalina?
oh God, you know that'd be kind of interesting too, you know, instead of Peach being like the one in distress, you know, it's just Rosalita being kidnapped and
No,
it's like
I just mean about the hair with the dress thing. I'm on that right now.
of course. Of course.
I know you're a Dixie Kong guy, but I'm a Rosalina guy. I'm gonna buy you that shirt. I'm a Dixie Kong guy.
Oh, Jesus
That's gotta
Christ.
be a shirt, right? Can I make
Well,
that shirt?
if it were Donkey Kong Country too, possibly. But at the same time,
It's because she could play the guitar. Is that why?
Well, that and when she has her little hair spin, it actually makes you go like a quicker throughout those various stages as opposed to Diddy Kong. But hey,
And she's wearing a swordfish. That's pretty hot.
but
All right.
yeah, man. I mean, I would not be surprised if there was a 2D Mario game in development.
Yeah, I just assume there's always one. I mean, it's obviously like the no duh. I assume there's always um, a 2D and 3D Mario game in development, but I don't know. I mean, and all these things sound plausible. The new art style, the new uh, getting away from the new name part of it.
That connotation,
Just
yeah,
yeah, like I feel like I think the when that game came out for a launch for Wii U and just nobody cared. I mean, A about the console and B about the game. Um, it just kind of showed that maybe we need to change some shit up. I think people were done with those games far before before the sales showed that people were done with those games. But
yeah.
sometimes it takes the next one for people to realize that they were sick of it when the last one came out.
That's the thing, because it started out on the DS in 2005, then it had the Wii version of it, which like New Super Mario Brothers and stuff, and then once,
We had the 3DS version.
yeah, and at that point, people were tired of like they wanted a 3D Mario game, right? And then all of a sudden, New Super Mario Brothers U was a launch title for the freaking Wii U, and people were kind of hesitant and even involving that, and that's before like years later when like Super Mario Odyssey and stuff, and like 3D World did come out on Wii U and stuff, and people were happy with that. That was great.
Oh, love that game. I need that game in my mouth. What?
Doesn't even make sense.
Gables, you like Dixie Kong in a weird way, so I don't want to fucking hear from you. Okay. I'm making that. That is now part of our lore. I'm putting that in our Wikipedia. Moving on, Gables. You sick fuck. Sorry. So,
booze, dude.
I really need to. Maybe you know what? I just realized I did not eat. You want to know what I had for dinner tonight, Gables?
No, what'd you have?
Pint of ice cream. I just realized that.
You fucking ice cream for dinner?
I'm a 33-year-old man, and I ate a pint of ice cream for dinner.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy, I'm fucking weird. Oh, I'm gonna die soon. All right, moving on.
Christ.
What is happening? This is what happens when you leave me alone for 5 minutes, Gables. Bad things happen. This is on you. Moving on. Some about Halo Infinite. With some more bad things. Halo Infinite. So we got a roadmap, which I mean, call it a map is like a roadmap is pretty disgusting. Rather, it's more like a straight line, but the line doesn't start for like 9 more months. So some more disappointments here. So they announced starting here. So they have a mini season starting November 8th, and it goes until March 7th, which is funny because that's a mini season, which is longer than most seasons in like things. Most are like 12 weeks, and that's like 4 months. But they're doing it. It's only 30 levels, but what's coming with that season starting November 8th is we get campaign co-op, we get the Forge beta, and so all that stuff has been pushed back. It's coming now in, like I said, November. So that was supposed to come out originally in August, the campaign co-op. Like I said, that's now moving to November. There's that beta, the Forge beta, as I mentioned, which originally was supposed to be a beta launch. Okay, so the Forge beta was supposed to come out in September. I'm rereading this as I'm going here. The third season does not start until March 7th, which is called Echoes Within. This game came out in November of 2020, and season 3 does not start until March 2023. Or sorry, 2021 it came out. So a year and a half later, we're finally getting season 3. They announced split screen co-op is no longer happening. They've canceled that. But the online co-op will be coming in November, like I said. They said they just couldn't make it work, which, hey, what happens is not like whatever. But so there's like a whole 30-minute video talking about all this stuff here. So in the winter development here, like so we have a 30-tier battle pass. The co-op is coming. There's a Forge beta, which is the beta. The Forge is like where you create your own maps. There's some people that's in the early access stuff right now, and I guess some of the stuff in there is pretty incredible. Like people have like recreated like Doom levels and like PT and like Andy's room from Toys R Us
Toys R Us,
fucking Toy Story. What the fuck is wrong with me? Um, so Echoes Within is what the third season will be called. That will have a normal 100 tier battle pass, new equipment, part, and also will have, I believe, 4 new level. No, wait, I'm trying to remember which one has 4 new. I'm rereading this here. Yeah. So then the third season will have 4 new levels, and we'll have 2 new game modes. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here, Gables. Um, there'll be no online matchmaking for online co-op as well. So you can only be like people that you have to like. You can't like randomize. You have to like.
Okay.
So yeah, you can still friends, but like you can't just like join a random game.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so basically, don't expect anything from them um, outside of Forge. And also with that, with the co-op online co-op coming, you can do like replay missions, and there'll be some new achievements and stuff like that, and a couple like maybe some new missions like the little side missions in the game, the campaign. Um, that'll be there. But as far as like any new modes or any new maps or anything like that, nothing coming until March of next year.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, they have really dropped the ball with this damn game. I mean,
Yeah,
some of this stuff is not intentional, obviously. I mean, some of this stuff was due in large part to the whole freaking COVID pandemic and stuff, and the whole
yeah.
delays and everything else. But let me just be honest with this. It's like ever since a Halo Infinite's release in 2021, and then the subsequent stuff they've done on the online stuff, a lot of the stuff has been bare bones. There have been people that have tried to play the game online and stuff, and like it feeling sort of lacking. Their whole promise is doing split screen co-op, and then like the online co-op stuff, and now the split screen stuff being canceled because they can't work it out and this and that. It feels like to me that they are really going to be moving on quick from this game once they finish off like a couple more seasons, if that.
I just don't know if they can because like the whole argument of this game was like it's supposed to be like it's called Infinite for a reason because it's supposed to be the platform for this generation. It's supposed to
Yeah,
just kind of add to it. Yeah, and I
it has not hit that type of
no,
moniker that they advertised at all. It feels like it's going to be like a game that's probably going to last for another year until like they subsequently either have to scrap that and go into a new project, or at this point, like release whatever type of story content that they're going to be doing for this Halo Infinite, because I don't even think even that story content that they promised the single player has been even like given a concrete
as
date yet.
no, I mean it's all been rumors. They haven't been officially announced any co-op, but it's all been rumors. But apparently that stuff is like late 2023 at best. Is what some of the stuff I've been reading.
Jesus.
Um, yeah, like I mean, the way you look at it though is like, would you rather put out like a game that plays badly but has a ton of content, or a game that plays awesome and has no content? Obviously, you pick the latter. Like
Well, you would
you
think,
want to be
right?
able, yeah. Like it can a great playing game can overcome this stuff. We've seen that in the past, but the problem is too often people use that as like, hey, well, this happened, so therefore we can do that. Well, it's like, well, no, just because they did it doesn't mean just because Rainbow Six Siege did it, just because Destiny did it, just because No Man's Sky did it, it's because like these half dozen games turned it around, but we forget about the 50 that didn't do it, or the 100 that didn't do it, or whatever. The problem is so often we point out the the 1 in 50 that do it. Um,
Right. Right.
and like it's still possible. Like Halo, like that game, we both played the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and it was awesome. We loved it. We both had it in our top 10 games of last year.
Yeah.
We both beat it.
Just strictly the
Um,
campaign.
yeah, I played a good chunk of the multiplayer. I got really into it for like a solid like pretty much for like 3-4 weeks there because I mean
Okay.
it was December or it was November when it came out.
Yeah, November.
And I got into it, and it was kind of like the last big game that came out that year. Um, and I mean I bought that first season. But the frustrating part about it was like I mean, like the online is free to play. You
Right.
don't have to have Game Pass for it. It's free to play. Um, but the from what I can understand and from like what I played of it at the time was obviously the whole XP, the way that worked was fucking garbage.
Yeah, it was.
It would take you forever just to get the one. I played it for a solid like 8 or 9 hours of multiplayer online, and I think I got to like level 4 on 100. I mean, 100 level battle pass, which mind you, that season lasted 7 months, but still like
That's a
the fact that
grind.
yeah, yeah, that's. I mean, I understand you want like you want people to spend money and stuff like that. I get it, but there's a balancing, and they did say that they're doing some XP betas going on right now where like they're trying to find a way to. They've done changes over time with it, but they try to like just there's a you Call of Duty created it the way you give out XP, and then obviously there's been tweaks and changes since then. We've gone from there, but the formula itself still works pretty goddamn well. Just keep doing that. It's okay to copy things that work really well.
Yeah.
Um, there's a reason why we copy it. But and like the Halo gameplay is really great. Like there's a big reason why. Like you look at Bungie, like Destiny 2, a lot of that gameplay is a lot of like what Halo was.
Yep.
It's like they just kind of built upon Halo, and you know what? Good fucking on them because that gameplay was amazing.
And it still is
And
amazing.
yes, it still is. Um, so yeah, I liked, like I said, I liked it, but the big frustrating part was like the grind of the levels, and then also just a ton of microtransactions. Like the way, like, and just the things you buy are just kind of lame. It's like, oh, like, and you got to buy everything piecemeal. It's like, hey, here's a shoulder pad. Fuck off. I don't want just I want the whole fucking thing. I don't want to just buy. But anyways, I think there's a lot of frustration there. I hate when people post about a game and say dead game because I hate that because like every online game goes like the big games have lulls. Gables, you went through that with Destiny too for a
Absolutely.
long time.
Yes.
There's lull, and I kept seeing comments over and over again: dead game, dead game, dead game. The new expansion came out. Everybody loved it. That game is booming again. We just had the big event last week
Yes, for
for
Lightfall.
it. It's
Yes.
booming some more. Yeah, for it was Lightfall.
Yes, it
What
was
it's called.
Lightfall. Yes.
I keep want to say Lightyear because the logo is literally the exact same as the Buzz Lightyear movie. I mean, it's not even. It's like I feel like Disney should sue. I'm not even kidding. It's gimmick infringement for sure. Yeah, I just can't believe it that I don't even know if I want to blame 343. I just feel like it's one of those cases where it's like Xbox failed them. Where it's like how you can't fuck up Halo, and they made a great game. The gameplay is
That's the
great.
thing. The
Like I
single
said,
player campaign is a fantastic experience, but the live service free to play game, it's like multiplayer itself, has a good foundation, but at the same time they fail to hit on some of the basic cues that other free to play games
content.
have. Fortnite, like you play, has that type of
Oh, good game.
balance to where you want to keep on continuously playing and also go through and buy
Mm.
season passes for it because at the core you enjoy what you want to play and you enjoy getting into those situations where, hey, I want to play as John Wick giving a Kamehameha to some dude across the map that looks like Indiana
Goddamn fucking
Jones.
right.
And yeah, you have that freedom to do so. Whereas in Halo Infinite, even though you can play what traditional Halo multiplayer you have and stuff, you could still like have fun doing that and stuff, but yeah, at the same time there really isn't anything more to it other than like say maybe a casual level increase, maybe some XP or maybe some supposed armor you could go for that maybe looks a little bit shinier than your last piece of armor. But yeah, there's nothing really enticing to keep you more long term other than, hey, it's more Halo, I'm gonna play some more Halo.
Yeah. Yeah, like you made a great point by bringing up Fortnite, one of the greatest games of all time. Gables, you should play. I don't know if I've ever told you before. But I mean, like, yeah, like they just did like a Dragon Ball Z event for 2 weeks and
Yep.
it's gone, and it was fucking awesome. Like, I would love it if that just stuck around, like, just go around, come on, hey, come here, hey.
Let's just go with the Kai Blast and there you go.
Sure, thank you, thank you. Don't thank you for not letting me drown there, Gables. But I just doing that was awesome. They just had the Daily Bugle from Spider-Man was just in them on the map for a few months. Indiana Jones's like temples were there for the season, and then it's gonna be gone. Like the Dragon Ball thing is just gone. There's a Destiny event going on right now that's only going on for a few weeks, and then apparently there's gonna be a Spider-Verse thing coming up next month from the leaks. Like they just do cool shit, and it's gone in a couple weeks. Obviously Fortnite's got a lot more a lot more years built on it as far as a service, and they
Yeah,
can
it
just kind of
is.
they a lot more they can just kind of do whatever they want with that thing. Halo's a little more grounded, but yeah, Xbox, you just can't fuck up Halo, and they've just been fucking up Halo since 3. Um, and like they finally they nailed the gameplay. They nailed it. Like I said, the most important part. But now it's to the point now where it's like you guys got, and like they I don't think they bought. I can't remember if they bought this studio or not. I can't remember the name of it. But there's a studio that's been like a side studio that's been like helping them with like I can't remember the name of it, but helping them with like they're like a side studio that's been helping them with like with maps and the content
Yeah.
for a long time now, and they basically are just now working for Microsoft and Xbox full time, helping out with fixing Halo. And like I said, I don't know if I blame the developers per se. I hate when people get mad at developers and call them lazy and shit like that. Like I'm not gonna blame them. I feel like this is like um, one of those cases. Like I said, Gables, like they announced in 2018 that this thing was coming day one with a new Xbox.
Yep.
Obviously, it didn't happen.
No.
And then they delayed it a year, and then the game came out a year later, and they said, "Hey, all this shit that we said was gonna be here at launch, the campaign co-op and Forge, that's actually gonna be delayed for a few months." And now it's a year later, it's coming out. Um, to me, that's a point now where maybe it's a development issue, but they also like this coming 2 years after you said it was supposed to come. That sounds like maybe Xbox puts you in a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
The head's there. Like I love Uncle Phil. Maybe this one's on him. Maybe we should be taking the L on this one. Uh, yeah, I just don't see it. Like I mean, like I said, the developers could easily have followed the bag on this one too. But yeah, I just don't. I can't believe like it's not Sonic levels of bad of like fucking up your mascot, but it's still pretty bad.
Exactly. To where Halo, in and of itself, that brand itself is now lower in terms of like prestige after Halo Infinite's release, despite it having a good, if not great, campaign, and how fun that was to go forth. Even though, yeah, exploring all this other stuff like open world esque and stuff, and having a grapple hook that was super fun to go forth and
Oh,
experiment
good
with.
game.
But yeah, if the Halo brand could be bigger if they had planned out a lot of their updates and a lot of their features, without having to tout it like and then all of a sudden delay it like months, if not half a year at a time.
Yeah. Well, and one last thing before we move on here is there's a chance they said that when the season 3 starts in March, that starts their whole 12 weeks
Right.
seasons, and then they'll be back on a normal track, which that's awesome. And they can easily they put out a couple good banger seasons, and they're good. They'll be golden. They'll be fine. And they can just keep up with the content from there. Like I said, they have a whole other studio helping them with content. Um, but it's hard to believe them because season 2 turned into a seventh. It took them 7 months to go from 1 to 2 when it was only supposed to be 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shit that's supposed to be in season 2 got delayed a whole year.
Wow.
I'm talking about Forge and co-op. So it's hard to believe because every time they announce something, 3 months later they announce they're delaying it. So I don't know. But we gotta move on
Yeah.
here, Gables. Um, I'll save the other new stuff for next week. Not a lot of big stuff.
Okay.
But let's move on to what we've been playing, Gables.
Sure.
I'm gonna go first if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Give me a second here so I can do a time code before I forget. I've been playing more of that Midnight Fight Express.
Mm-hmm.
I've been talking about. I was like, I think I was like level 8 last week when I played it.
Uh-huh.
When I talked about it, it's that like, it's on Game Pass. It's that if people don't remember, it's a top down kind of like fight 'em beat 'em up game, and I loved it, and I still like it a lot. I'm on like level 19, I think. But I'm definitely kind of hitting the like I'm like it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours in now at this point. I feel like I'm definitely starting to hit that like it's everything about this game is great. It's just not a game that you want to play a ton of. It's not like I don't know. It's like Shredder's Revenge. I
Okay.
love that game. I beat that game in like 2 hours. If it was a 5 hour game, I would not. If to beat the main story, that is like I know there's a lot of replay value of that game, but if it was a 5 hour long, campaign of levels, um, I would not have liked it as much. And I kind of feel that way about this one. There are 41 levels in this game. And I
Jesus
am 19 in.
Christ.
Each level is, about 5-6 minutes. So it's not super duper long. And when you fucking get into a groove and you start fucking dudes up,
Mm-hmm.
it is, if they made John Wick the video game, this is exactly what I want it to be. Like have those guys make that game, but just have them make it half the length because, like I said, I love it a lot. I just don't know if it's for me as far as like, it's like a 5-6 hour game. If this was like a 3 to 4 hour game, which I know is kind of ridiculous to say, I think I would like it a whole lot more. But Gables, there's one other game I've been playing.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this, Gables,
Oh boy.
but I bought a game this week.
Okay, lay it on me.
Do you already know what I'm going to say?
Yeah, I kind of have a good feeling.
Did you know this before I said that, or are you just now figuring it out?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I kind of gathered two and two that you probably would have bought this game regardless here. And I'm going to give it a guess right now. You bought The Last of Us, didn't you?
You're goddamn right about
Yes,
fucking
of
Last of
course.
Us, Gables. I bought Last of Us. It is so goddamn good. It's so good. Why did I doubt this game? I didn't doubt the game. Okay. I got some talking. I got some backtracking I gotta do here, Gables.
Alrighty.
I talked a lot. I don't want to say I talked a lot of shit, but last year when the rumors came out of this one, I was pretty upset about this. Upset about the fact that Naughty Dog was making it. No other reason. Finding out some rumors, finding out some shit later on. Sounds like, okay, it makes sense because they're like in a weird like in between project thing right now. A lot of developers sitting around in their hands, not all to do. Give them this game work on. Boom, done. Whatever. We talk about this a lot at Summer Game Fest. Like, does this game need to happen? Obviously not. Obviously not. Like, do we need a remake of a game from 9 years ago that was remastered 8 years ago? No. But I said this. Do I get the business sense of it? Of course. The movie's coming out soon. They're going to so they've not only released the game on PS3, re-released it on PS4,
Yep.
remaked it for right now.
Yeah.
And then when the show starts next year, they're going to quadruple dip on this fucking game. Like they want the Witcher 3 effect. Or Witcher 3, the second best selling year ever for that game, was 7 years after that game released when the Witcher season 1 came out.
Right.
So they seen that and they want to do that. I get it. It's smart. $70 price point. It's hard to pay. It's hard to rough. But Gables, what if I told you I bought the deluxe edition that was $80? How would that make you feel?
How would that?
Because that goddamn did it. I don't know how it makes. I don't even know about that one. I don't know why I asked that question. But I did that. I paid the $8 for this game,
Okay.
Gables. I did it.
So what's different about this edition as opposed to like the regular thing?
It looks amazing. It looks gorgeous. Look, this is exactly what you think it is.
Yep.
It is a PS built from the ground up, graphically, PS5 game.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it looks gorgeous. It is amazing. I've talked about this. Last of Us Part 1 is perhaps top 3, at worst, probably top 5 favorite game of all time for me. And Part 2 is probably number 2 on that list, maybe number 1. It's a discussion I'm going to have with myself at a later day. So yeah, I understand why people. I don't say okay. At this point now, I'm like thinking about it. Obviously, I'm a fan of these games, so you can take that with a grain of salt as well.
Right.
This game is give me one of the best games of all time. Yeah, as a gameplay, what sucks is like I would rather the gameplay be Last of Us Part 2 because I thought that gameplay was legitimately fantastic. Where you can talk about Last of Us Part 1, even at the time when it came out, wasn't great, but it was still really good. It's Uncharted gameplay, which wasn't great at the time, but it was very good. And after playing Uncharted 4 and Last of Us Part 2, it's a step back.
Right.
It's still good. It's still fine. Like I could still game like they took the Gears of War style, which I could play Gears of War 1 now and still have a good time with it. Not a great time. That was great of a time at the time, but it's still a good time with it. And it kind of holds up in that way. I see a lot of people mad about the reviews. I don't fully understand that one. Honestly,
Then again, I can't really fully understand some of the reviews too, because it's like it's odd. It's odd because it's like there are some reviews that I've read, like say on OpenCritic and stuff like that, to where the way they like go forth and post some of the critiques and stuff, it makes it feel like it's going to be an actual lower score than it is, and all of a sudden it's like boom, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. There's just there's even some like parallels, not like parallels, but like there was even like some like YouTubers I've watched videos of giving like reviews and like in regards to The Last of Us remaster stuff on the PS5 and stuff, and it's kind of this quintessentially the same thing, to where it's like they love the overall experience. I mean, they love The Last of Us and stuff, but yet they've said the same things like what you're telling me right now, and it's still like it's still something that they feel like is a highly good quality game.
well, I mean, I think this is maybe one of the weirdest reviews of like a big game that I can remember.
Yeah.
Because the problem is like, how do you review this game? Because like, I think I was thinking about this. This is kind of the idea the analogy I kind of had in my head is like, we replayed Mass Effect 1 and 2 last year.
Well, yes.
We still love those games. But if I were to review Mass Effect 1 back in the day, Mass Effect 1 and 2,
Yeah.
I probably would have gave 1 a 9, a 9.5 out of 10. And then 2 probably a 10 out. I would have given 2 out of 10 out of 10. If I were reviewed Mass Effect 1 last year with what we had there, it looks gorgeous. Same as that gameplay. Probably would have been an 8 out of 10. Mass Effect 2 probably would have been a 9 out of 10. Like, yeah, the game it's still what you love. It's still a game that is fantastic, but the gameplay is a little dated. And you've been there, done that.
Well, yeah, yeah.
And I kind of feel the same way. Like, how do you review a game that the PS4 version is a 95 rating and the PS3 version I think is a 94 rating or something like that on Metacritic? They're 1 point difference, I believe. How do you review that game 8 years later? Do you review it on the merit of the quality of the remake? Do you review it on the quality of the game itself? Because you review it on the quality of the game itself. I think it's an 88 on OpenCritic. I still think, trying to become unbiased here, it's still one of the greatest stories ever told in gaming. Like, Gables, you loved that game back in 2013 as well.
I love the story of that
Jake
game, but the controls and the clunkiness of some of the frustrations I felt and stuff. I mean, yeah, yes. In regards to like Last of Us, even when it released on the PS3, I even told you and stuff. It's like I did love the story, and there were some aspects of that game I really did enjoy, and I thought that it was a fantastic game for that year and stuff. But I also did have frustrations on my own quibs and everything else like that too, and that was because of the control style of the thing being frustrating and also chunky in some portions and stuff because of how, it was a PS3 game, and there was some other stuff that weren't as refined and stuff, say, compared to, say, The Last of Us Part 2. Even though I never finished that game, I really enjoyed the combat. I really enjoyed the tailoring of, like, the weapon upgrades, the dodge mechanics, the accessibility aspects of it. And one thing I can say about this remastered collection stuff that I really do enjoy is the even further elaboration upon some of the accessibility stuff, because you can technically turn on God mode and have invincibility stuff. You could go forth and adjust things based upon hearing or eye vision and stuff like that. I mean, that's something I would have expected like Naughty Dog to do with this one, and compared to what they even compared to what they did in Last of Us Part 2. I mean, I like that option because that's different in regards to the original release, and I feel that adds a bit more to the credence of, hey, this is definitely the definitive version you should be playing. The major thing I have in regards to this is that we've already had a remastered on the PS4, and it's openly available on the PlayStation 5 storefront. I mean, you can technically rebuy this PS4 game for like, $20 or something like that on the PS4, give or take, and it also includes all the content that this one does have, barring obviously the graphical updates, barring like the accessibility adds-on stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the online stuff. I forget if the
factions is not a part of the game now.
Okay. I can't remember whether the faction stuff was part of the remastered on PS4.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is part of the remaster. It is not part of the remake.
Okay.
And that's the one gripe I will give people for sure.
Right.
Is like, that does suck. That's part of, like, I get the pricing. I'm not going to argue the pricing. Like, yeah, I don't think this should be a $70-$80 game, whatever you want to call it. Like Gables, for me, like when I hear people like talk about like their gripes with things, I totally get it. I think it's like definitely like more so if like you are someone that's already played these games,
Mm-hmm.
like it is definitely like if you want to play this game again, here is the best way to play this game. If you are someone that's never played this game, here's the best way to play this game. And you're right, it is on that you can play this game readily. And if you have PS Plus, you can play that game for free with PS Plus. It's a part
Absolutely.
of the PlayStation Plus collection. Um, so I understand that. So if people want that, but they want a better version of that, a better looking version of that,
I mean,
here
yeah,
that
they
is.
have the option to do
So
so. Yes.
yeah, and that's awesome. And like kind of way I was thinking about this was like, yeah, I was talking about like the Mass Effect collection, like the whole Mass Effect thing was like, I would rate those games lower now than I did then, just because of overall time. So I feel like an 88 for one of the greatest stories ever made in video game history. I don't think that's terrible. And the gameplay, yeah, like I at the time was not the best of all time. I still think it's fine today. It's still good. It doesn't hinder the experience of the game. So I don't think an 88 is egregious. I heard a lot of people like, why is it lower than what it was 8-9 years ago? I'm like, well, you gotta remember this. Like
Hmm.
I agree with. I actually I think an 88 is a fair number for this game. Um, but I do think it's like, yeah, like I said, do you rate this game on the merit of the quality of the remake, or do you rate this game on the merit of what it is today? And I feel like the quality of the remake, as far as like what they did with the game from like a look style, is amazing. It's fantastic. And I think too often people point at Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII, where Capcom does not call those remakes. They call them reimaginings of the Resident Evil games.
Right. Right.
Final Fantasy VII remake is not called remake because it's remaking 7. It is remaking the story of 7.
Right.
It's a play on words. Um, so that's kind of the idea I have here. And it's like also like we talked about the Nintendo earlier. The Nintendo, Jesus Christ, for my mom. That we're talking about Nintendo Switch earlier. That thing is riddled with Wii U games, and we
Yep.
bought them, and we love them, and we bought them anyways, even though they are the same price or more expensive
Well,
than
yes,
what
of
they were on
course.
the Wii U. Miitopia was a $30 3DS game, and they ported it to the Switch for $60.
Yes, it did.
They're gonna announce in a week and a half the Wind Waker Twilight Princess ports that are the remasters from the GameCube
Mm-hmm.
that were on the Wii U are being ported to the Switch, and we're all gonna probably buy them again. And I'm not even talking shit. I'm not even complaining, because I'm probably gonna do it too, and that's okay. I just think it's definitely one of those things that fandom. It's like when people bitch about like, oh Madden, it's the same game every year, or NBA 2K, it's the same game every year. But you know what? People love those games and they're excited
Well,
about it. And
yeah,
if you
there are
don't want to buy
people
them, you don't have
that
to buy
are
them.
excited about those games and stuff. I understand that even when it comes like to say with Madden and stuff or NBA 2K and stuff, there are going to be certain features lacking, but yet there's still going to be that dedicated fan base that will buy them year after year no matter what. I do understand that. And that's the kind of case here with like say The Last of Us here for PS5 to where it's like it's a game kind of similar to how say Nintendo goes through and re-releases games and stuff. It's a fantastic game. The story in and of itself, I feel, is hyper fantastic, and people will go forth and buy it. But I will state, it's like for $70, if you've already played it before, I mean, you could always wait for a sale. I mean, hell, this is
Yeah.
the perfect game to wait for like it dropping down to $40 and
Oh,
then pick it up like
yeah.
that. I mean,
Black Friday, $50, $40,
exactly. I
buy it
mean,
then. Yeah.
for a game you've probably mostly have already played before, unless you're like, say, getting in your early adult years now, being like 18 or 19, then you have a PS5, then by all means, go all in and just buy this game if it goes on sale, or if it's you don't, if you feel justified to spending over $70 for it. I mean, hell, more power to you. But yeah, for some of us gamers and stuff that have played this game before, that still own the remake of the PS4 version and stuff, and they see this and stuff, if I truly wanted this definitive edition and stuff, I would just wait for a sale.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I completely agree with you. Like I will admit, the only reason I bought it now is just because there's nothing coming out for me until mid
Well,
October.
yeah, that's true. I mean, that's justifiable for you,
So it's
Tyler.
it's more of
That's
a timing thing than anything. Like I would have bought this eventually regardless, but like yeah, like I even said this a while ago when they originally announced the Summer Game Fest. It's like I'll just wait for when it's $40-$50, and then I'm looking at the release calendar here and I'm like, oh fuck, like there's nothing I want to play until like Plague's Tale, which oddly enough is a Last of Us style game.
Dude,
That's coming October 18th. So I'm like, I got fuck all. I got Madden and nothing until for 2 months. I'm like,
that's true.
fuck
I
it. I
mean,
got
you do have an open
so
you do have an open frame and stuff to where you can go through and just have something fill that void up until a Plague's Tale. Whereas the opposite of that is with me is like Splatoon 3 is next week. On that
yeah,
Friday, I want to play that, and then
yeah. And
late.
I chose to play a
Yeah.
good game, and you're not. That's fine. Okay, and I love it. I like Splatoon 3. I'm fucking with people. No, I'm just talking shit. But no, yeah, I don't disagree with what anybody's saying. Not anybody. There are a lot of people being shitty. But like people that are arguing in good conscience and good faith. I understand everybody the price point, but it's kind of like the thing like, and it's shitty. I'm not defending it, but it's we talk about the price point. It's kind of the thing I said about when we talk about PlayStation raising the prices all around the world, everywhere but here. Like they did it in all the places they're dominating in. You want to know why? Because they're just gonna pay for the extra $50 or whatever the €50 or the extra 10%, whatever it's gonna be, because they just know people are gonna buy it because they kick ass over there. They kick Xbox's ass over there, and they know like, do I buy the Xbox or do I spend the extra 10% or whatever it is and just buy the PlayStation that I've been trying to get for 2 years now? And they're gonna just spend the extra 10% and they're gonna move on. That's what's gonna happen.
Or they could just
And
do
like
whatever they kind of feel like, where it's like, oh, okay, I'll just save my money, get a Series X or S or something like that, and then buy first party games on Steam for a PlayStation.
yeah, but then you got to wait 2 years to play them on
Yeah,
there.
that's true
So
too. I mean, hell.
God of War's coming in November.
Yep.
So God of War's coming in November. Gables,
You got a couple
Gables,
months.
2 more months. Gables, 2 more months. But Gables, that took up a lot of time there. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tell me what you've been playing, buddy.
All right. Like I stated before on the beginning portion of the show, I played more of Destiny 2, and I've actually finished up the Witch Queen expansion. And by doing so, I had one of my friends join me. And the thing about this expansion, what's interesting is to start off of it, it follows off the remnants of Sabathun. And Sabathun, for those that are kind of familiar with the Destiny 2 lore and stuff, she's a part of the Hive alongside like a couple of her other siblings. I mean, the Hive, basically their lore story is they followed the ideals like of a bunch of like worms or something. I'm just kind of paraphrasing this. There's like a couple of different siblings, like with Oryx and another sister and stuff like that, along with Sabathun and stuff. They basically their entire race is has like goes down this sort of like this evil path and stuff, just trying to find like a savior or something for their race, and they find these worms and all this other stuff, these specific type of worms that eventually turn them into the Hive. Now, this whole story in regards to the whole Witch Queen is fascinating to me because you learn more or less the origins of the Hive itself, but also like a lot of the influence behind what made the decisions of how the Hive became what they became in general and stuff. And there's a little bit more, and it kind of does lead into the whole like the whole revealing of say the Lightfall trailer and this and that. But I will say the content in regards to the Witch Queen expansion is highly good. It's actually fairly high quality. The amount of length is actually a good solid like say 2.5 hours sort of like story mode. Obviously there's more content than that in regards to the whole like online passes, the whole online stories as well, in terms of like some of the season passes, they kind of spoon feed you certain bits of like a continuous story leading up to the release of like the next expansion. So, for example, with like Wrath of the Witch Queen here, not Witch Queen, but just like Witch Queen in general, you have this introductory thing where you're going through, you're fighting Sabathun, and I got to admit, man, fighting like Sabathun, that final boss battle and stuff, where she's like, and I'm gonna be going a little bit of spoiler stuff, where it's like she has these different type of like projectile, like freaking like images of herself, like as decoys and stuff, and you're going this whole like battlefield sort of esque type of navigation that you have to go through all these like specific portals and doing this other shit. A lot of the levels and the music throughout this expansion, I mean, this was highly creative. I really liked how much work Bungie put into creating the Hive world, or just have the old artistry thing, kind of sort of like a gothic sort of look. I love that aspect of it, and I also did like a whole back and forth banter between one of the hive ghosts and stuff like that, along with like some of your characters and stuff, because this whole story really much focuses around the core characters, say like Ikora Ray and stuff like that, your guardian and stuff, your ghost, and like another like a character, that little hive ghost and stuff. Learning more so about Sabathun and what she's eventually going to try to plan to do and this and that. But like I was stating, the mission structures and like how you go through and advance certain like boss battles or certain like fights and then some of the strikes, good high quality. I'm really impressed, and I understand a little bit more why that reviewers gave this expansion like eights, nines. It definitely feels like one of the best expansions that Destiny 2 has had. I
88 of 88 in open credit
exactly.
deals.
I actually enjoyed this a bit more than I did for Beyond Light when that came out and stuff around 2020, and then I enjoyed the hell out of that. I actually replayed that thing with like all three of my guardians and stuff like that. This one has that potential, but I do like not just the story missions, not just like the aspects of it, but like there's this ongoing thing now for my season pass stuff where like you deal with this one merchant called Spider and stuff like that, and you have to do those different like these plundering and like these treasures, like pirate theme really. So you're plundering treasure, like the space pirate things and this and that. It's just kind of like a loose thing I'm paraphrasing at the moment, but yet it's highly enjoyable. You get to go through different types of bounties and like try to earn these different types of gear and stuff. I've only dabbled a little bit inside of that whole online stuff. I'm probably gonna play a little bit more tomorrow night with some of my friends, but as far as like some of the weapons that I've gathered throughout this stuff, really fun. I mean, the glaive in and of itself, I love that fucking thing because it acts sort of like a superpowered like gun, and then all of a sudden you can just do stab and like slash attacks with the damn thing, and it feels really fluid. It doesn't feel fairly gimmicky or anything. But yeah, a lot of the subtle changes, the quality of life changes in regards to how you level up your guarding, how you do like certain attacks, how you can actually use guns to a specific time and like build up this this little meter and stuff, and then you have these different types of like elements that you can add to your glaive or add to other weapons that you create in this stuff. Top notch. Really enjoyed that. And you know what? The Witch Queen is definitely worth that investment. It was on sale on PSN not too long ago. It was like maybe $25 or something. That was fucking worth it. I am so glad I finally got back to it and finished it up. The whole story aspect, like I said before, it was like maybe about a couple hours. It's not really too like intense. It doesn't drag out like say over a span of like 4 or 5 hours, like some expansions in the past have. But definitely, if you're a Destiny 2 fan, you have not invested inside Witch Queen yet, definitely get on that before Lightfall comes out in early 2023. This is going to give you a whole good, like a whole nother setup because leading up to the second part of this expansion trilogy. But the other game that I did play a little bit more of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I have to say, I really enjoy the music of this game, especially when I do my little pause menus or like I'm going through editing characters gear, or if I'm like switching like different character yeah, like certain character gears or something like that, or learning a little bit more about the tutorial stuff. The music that plays is that sort of like a soft piano sort of like play in that regards. I would highly recommend, Tyler, that you give it like maybe like a little bit of a listen to, like some of the pause menu stuff. It's really soothing. It's really
All right,
soothing.
I'll give it
And
a
when you
listen.
do have it, when you're saving your game or something, you're just making adjustments and stuff, it feels so soothing to the point where it's like I just want to have that pause menu on the background while I'm going through and doing other stuff because it is pretty fun. It is pretty nice. But I'm at that point inside of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 where I finally have my group of six together, and we are in the midst of deciding we got to go to a specific area or some that's like right where this giant sword in the ground and stuff like that is in the distance, and we have to go there. But in order to get there, we have to navigate throughout this whole expansive sort of like map, this overworld map, facing off against all these random enemies and stuff. Some of them are more powerful than you are. Some of them are like incredibly weak or something. But I am really enjoying the freaking gameplay of it. I'm really enjoying how you can go and have certain party members focus upon just like specific attacks, or how you can focus them, like lead everyone up to your position and stuff, so that way we can group up on some other groups of enemies and stuff. And I quite honestly, this is the type of game where I can just sit back and grind and stuff and not really feel like bored or anything with it, because I'm really enjoying the gameplay aspect of it. But I do notice that in terms of like, say, if you're facing off against a more powerful enemy and stuff, the music changes and it sort of becomes a little bit more serious in tone and stuff like that. And I've had it a few times to where I've nearly died a couple times because of I've gone in with my party and stuff. We've done our thing and stuff, but it starts taking out a couple of my party members. I'm like, oh shit, I need to get this going. I need to get this going. And I finally win and stuff, and all my other party members revive after that. I'm like, oh god, I need to level up. And in terms of story mission wise, I've I completed like a couple of different ones, but I've learned how to create certain items based upon the specific type of machine that I have to go forth and recharge based upon certain fuel cells. I've gone like and met up with another type of traveling merchant or something where I can buy like certain equipment, and then I have to bring them like this specific type of like item and stuff in order for me to like to sell to them and stuff, so I can get more cash and stuff. It just slowly is introducing certain mechanics and certain like basic JRPG stuff one at a time and stuff. But and although I've spent like a good solid 6.5 hours playing this game, and quite honestly, it's enough to warrant that yeah, this is definitely worth me diving some more time into. Granted, this is one of those 100+ hour RPGs, and I know I'm probably not going to be done with this game anytime soon. So it's one of those games where I'm going to be enjoying on the side where I'm playing other games, you know, because it's like I'll nail a couple hours here. If I really get into it, maybe a couple more hours the following day. It's a slow burn. It kind of feels like what I did with, like, say, Persona 5 Royal and also Three Houses. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week.
Well, very cool, Gables. Um, well, I think that might wrap it up for us this week, guys. Um, thank you guys so much for listening. If you like this, please like I said, top of the show, like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends. Really would appreciate it. Um, yeah, but until next time, I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. Till next time, everyone, have yourself a fun week and play some video games.
Thank you, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
See you sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.